God. Telling y'all I'm under attack. I'm under attack. My webcam just coming on when it won't. Lines are open, family. So make sure y'all know. Now my chat is not working. I'm telling y'all, we under attack. Loving it. I'm loving it. Keep it coming. Shut the show down. I'm doing something right. Show not even showing up on the timeline. Show not even showing up on my timeline, family. I'm loving it. Hit me harder. Y'all not hitting hard enough. Uh-oh, my fault. It's on, but it's not showing up on Gye-Nyame Journey. And I can't figure out why. I can't figure out why. Let's see. Let's see if I can edit it. It says updated. But I'm not seeing it on my Gye-Nyame Journey timeline. And I know my Gye-Nyame Journey family is out there, right? So somebody, y'all can't even hit me up to let me know if the shit is on here. You know, I'm not mad. Let me play a commercial. Okay, all right. So they put it up on Spreaker. Oh, here it go. Okay, cool. So now let's post this up. Call in line are open. 614-556-4535. Wow. I got to go through all this just to reach out to you. Family, I just want y'all to know that the lines are open. I'm waiting for the chat. The chat still has not fixed itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out that window and I'm going to go over here. No, I don't want to leave changes you made may not be saved. Cancel. Let's go here. We're going to go here. We're going to reopen up the chat because I definitely want to have this conversation with y'all, family. because the thoughts came from, you know what I'm saying, the thoughts were sparked by one of our ancestors, one of our honorable ancestors, and I want to make sure that people know. I mean, like I said, man, I listen to this brother several times each year because he was so far ahead of the curve. And every time I listen to him, even though I listen to a lot of because we ain't got all of his lectures. I'm quite sure we don't got all of them, but we got a lot of them available to us. And his name is Amos Wilson. And Amos Wilson will crack your brain, especially when you start finding out he died like in the early 90s. You like, what? Some of the stuff that he hits you off with is just incredible. So I want to share one of my thoughts from that. But first, of course, we got to get into the quotes for the day so that we can go on and have that discussion. And like I said, the quotes always align with what's moving us in the spirits, in the ether, in whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? So right now, the YouTube stuff is down. Of course, people gonna call me when I know. I mean, it's like I'm pretty consistent. If there's one thing about me, I'm consistent. So let's get some announcements out on March 30th, right? March 30th, we will be having our G&J Mall, and I hope to see all of those that's been loyal to Gye-Nyame to come out and continue to support us on May. Like I said, we're gonna have the movie night there. The movie that we're because we having trouble getting the movie. It's called The White Man's Burden, right? Starring Harry Belafonte and John Travolta. I think it's gonna be a good discussion in this movie. Hopefully, I'll be able to sit down and partake in the discussion rather than running in and out. But you know how it is when you trying to organize. Family, I just need to let you know. Like I said, the goal is to have the G&J Mall and the movie on a monthly basis every last Kuumba of the month, right? If you don't speak the language, you need to learn the language. So I don't feel like doing no push-ups right now, right? So we're trying to bring some life into our conscious community, into our wake community. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to bring that market, because the market is, in a sense, one of the centers of culture. This is where people meet and pass information. This is where people meet and exchange goods that we use in our everyday life. So it only makes sense that if we're talking about building here and we're talking about nation building, you can't have a nation without a market. You can't have a neighborhood without a market. We got to understand that a lot of our money is going out, and you can't, family, listen to me, please. You can't have a nation. You can't have a neighborhood. Hell, you can't have a family if all of your money is going out. As a group, we got to really start looking at this. So one of the things we did with Gye-Nyame Journey is that we're trying to create a space where commerce can happen, where networking can happen, where exchanging of new ideas can happen, a safe place, a community-owned place. And we got that. All we got to do is maintain it. You know what I'm saying? So, family, come on out on March 30th from 12 to 6 p.m. at 3500 Refugee Road. Those vendors, we still have room for vendors. You will be surprised how much room we got. We only using one room to grow. The goal is to outgrow that and to have the hallways full of vendors. So our elders and those that want to just walk around and shop can actually shop. You know what I'm saying? I envision that eventually people going to be able to come and get eggs and get fresh honey. You know what I'm saying? Possibly get a lawnmower fixed. You know what I'm saying? Or buy a lawnmower or a sweeper. You know what I'm saying? Come and sign up for some services that they need. Hear from a lecturer that's going to be bringing some information for them. This is what we have to do to build the community. This is true nation building. I'm not out here playing. The family is not out here playing. The tribe is not out here playing because we don't got time, because nobody is playing with us. Right? Nobody's playing with us. Right? Everybody circled their wagons. And we caught out here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get into that conversation a little bit later on, because we got to break it down. We got to break bread on this conversation tonight. Right? So, all right. Now, another announcement. On May 25th, we will be having the Malcolm X Festival, once again, over at the Millennium Community School, 3500 Refugee Road. Family, we are setting up the entertainment right now. And, I can't say, I want to say it, but I want to make sure everything is finalized, because what we got coming for you, it's some real music, right? Some real music, right? Also, we got possibly two bomb speakers coming out. Local, homegrown, but nationally renowned. We're not playing, right? Everybody else could play. Everybody else could send shots, whatever. Y'all do whatever y'all want to do. Gye-Nyame Journey is building. We partner up with our families, right? Taiwi Village, Imani dancers. We're not playing. We're bringing the heat. And we're not going to stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we cannot stop, right? Because we got to, because like I said, the goal is to build all this stuff up, family, to eventually some of our young people are working directly for our community, so that when we put them into politics, they are beholden to no one but us. Isn't that what it's about? When we put them in the police station, they are beholden to no one but us. Right? When we put them into business, they are beholden to no one but us. You can't have a culture. You can't really have a culture. You can't have a nation. You can't have a neighborhood if people are not accountable to you. Come on now. A lot of y'all out there on that do as thou wilt shit. Don't even know it. But hey, all right, so I think those are the announcements. Another announcement now. For my birthday, my one birthday gift they just told me that I got for myself that's going to make the show a little bit better, right? They just told me that it's going to take me, it's going to take into April. I was supposed to get it in March, but they're having problems shipping it into the country. Some bullshit, right? Some bullshit. Then I'm waiting for all this stuff. I'm not getting nothing in the mail. Every day I'm going up to the front desk, stop hiding my packages. I'm starting to feel bad. I'm thinking they taking me seriously, right? So, for my birthday, the great organizer of the school, Miss Hairston, she always gives me a nice book. So, we got this book as an ancestral book, and it looks good, and it got all this stuff like this, right? Look at that. Nice book, right? But Miss Hairston, not today, but for my birthday, gave me this one. Look at that. So, family, y'all need to let me know. So one is black, the other is brown. If you think that I need to transfer all the ancestors' name in this one and use it as the ancestor book, or should I just keep it in the black one? I want my ancestors, and I want the thoughts of my ancestors to be comfortable, and they'll be comfortable in both of these. But this is a family decision. This is not a Brother Hatim decision. Let me know what you think. Black or brown, right? Look at that. Ooh, she sure know how to do it. The other one is going to just be my little private writing instruments, and you know what I'm saying? But I just thought I'd throw that out there. So, the folk tales for the night. Damn, Restream is still not up. The hell going on with the chat? Well, I hope somebody out there, man. I have no way of telling. No way of telling. And the Restreamio is just sitting up there like everything is okay. I got a blank screen. I'm like, damn, all right. So, folk tales for the night. We are coming from Gye-Nyame Journey Workbook, Travel Quotes. If you want the book, you can let me know. We'll get, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you want to support Gye-Nyame Journey, you can buy it. And still, if you can't afford it, you know what I'm saying? You want to work with the family, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get you a PDF. You know why? Because we created the book. Cold-blooded. Lines are open, 614-556-4535. Don't be shy to share your wisdom, your insight on these proverbs, as well as the discussion that I'm about to crack your head with. This idea, this thought came to me while I was listening to the elder Amos Wilson. My fault, to the ancestor. Amos, no supported channels in there, but please add a supported chat platform in your dashboard. What? Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, you getting it together. Yeah, you better get it together because we paying money here at Gye-Nyame Journey. We ain't got time for no foolishness, right? So, okay, shoot. All right, so here we go. Day 64. Oh, like and share, family, because the conversation might get hot. Because I'm gonna read the proverbs, then I'm gonna throw out the conversation, and I'm gonna find a way to plug the conversation in piece by piece with the quotes. We're gonna have a discussion first, then we come back to the quotes. Day 64. Do not confine your children. Ooh, this fits right in. Do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. Sasha and Gina, stop playing in that tub and get to bed because y'all know I'm working y'all up early. It's real life here, Gye-Nyame Journey. All right. Do not confine your children to your own learning.
This call is being
recorded. For they were born in another time. That's a Hebrew proverb. Spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Physical relationships divorced from spiritual is body without soul. Mohandas Gandhi. Next one. When minds are the same, that which is far off will come. East Africa. When minds are the same, that which is far off will come. We had somebody call in, burp, and hang up. What in the hell is going on my conference line? Why would you call in, burp, and hang up? All right. The lines is open, Lady J. All right, here we go. So let me go and make sure everybody knows 61 call in lines. Call in at 614-556-4535. Boom. There we go. Lines are open. Let me make sure. Check 1, check 2. Yeah, my lines are open. I don't know what's going on with your line, but the black line is open. Along with the black signal is flowing out to the world. So once again, do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. Hebrew proverb. Spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Physical relationship, divorced from spiritual, is body without soul.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Hold on. You can't hear me? Oh, okay. Let's see what's going on. Check 1, check 2, check 1, check 2, check 1. All right, let me hang up and try it again. All right. Lines up. They're coming at us, family. Check 1, check 2, check 1, check 2. Why this webcam just keep microphone HD Pro? Let's go to default. Why don't we just do default? Let's do and check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2.
You are the first participant on this Uber conference. Please hold while we wait for the others to join.
All right, thank you, Uber conference. She said she could not hear me. I apologize for that. Spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Physical relationships divorced from spiritual is body without soul. Next, when minds are the same, that which is far off will come. All right, so here we go. We're going to get back to that. But family, let me go and share with you what I found. So, checking Uber conference, seeing if, no, my signal is not going through. Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. It's not even letting me, all right, let me check. Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2.
This call
Can
is
you hear
being
me now?
recorded.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right, cool. So before we get into the proverbs, I wanted to share something. So once again, I'm going through, because y'all know, I go to YouTube University, and I am constantly, trying to sharpen my sword, right? Get the mind sharp, right? So I found a video, and it's one that a lot of you out there probably have seen. Those that don't know about Amos Wilson, you need to really, really check out Amos Wilson, because he was leaps and bounds beyond where he was. I mean, far as time-wise, right? And this is one that I heard several times, but this piece stuck out to me because of this whole ADOS thing with me right now. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna say right now, but this whole ADOS thing. So the name is labeled Capitalism, and it's on the Gye-Nyame journey timeline. All the stuff that I took, all the stuff that I discussed most of the time in some form or fashion ends up on the Gye-Nyame journey timeline on the page, right? The private group, you know what I'm saying, is run by members of the family. Every now and then I jump in on that, but I monitor the page. I ask other people to kind of take control of the private space that we have, right? And another discussion that we're going to need to have in the future is that there are platforms that we could use that are strictly for, we could build our own platform where we, in a sense, could do our own Facebook. You know what I'm saying? We won't call it won't be Facebook, but we can have our own stuff. So we don't have to worry about the signal dropping and all that. And, that is a possibility. So I need the family, if that's what y'all want to do, we going, because it's going to require the support from the family. But here we go. So, check out this video, our ancestor Amos Wilson. Check out this video. Our ancestor Amos Wilson was light years ahead. In here, he gave a path to success and defined what is going on now with the call to reparations from the ADOS community. I'm going to change a few words, but in essence, it defines what is happening with #ADOS. Now, in the original speech, he used this model to define why the Koreans and other ethnic groups are able to rise up. I took the liberty to replace some words. Please pay attention. He says, quote, and I'm paraphrasing because y'all know I'm listening, I'm trying to write. Other groups are operating based on their ethnicity. And I put in here, look it up so that you are clear. ADOS need, and I'm adding ADOS because he didn't, they didn't use that language. ADOS need to operate on a basis of consciousness and identity of ADOS to advance our economic interests and then use our economic power to advance our political interests. The lecture brought a question that I will throw up on my show today, and I know that some people will be upset. After listening to this and hearing this ancestor go in on multiculturalism, looking up terms to make sure that I had it right, I have to throw out this question tonight on the broadcast. Is Pan-Africanism just multiculturalism in blackface? Now, when the original quote, other groups are operating based on their ethnicity. ADOS need to operate on a basis of consciousness and identity of ADOS to advance our economic interests and then use our economic power to advance our political interests, end quote. Right? So, but if you take ADOS out of what I said, he used Korean, or he used other groups to kind of define and discuss this idea. Right? Because the piece that he was trying to identify for the crowd he was listening to is, how is it that everybody else is advancing? Now, of course, we got other statistics and other stuff, but even with that, Amos Wilson was able to cover why we are where we are, and in a sense, in many ways, predict where we would be today. The same thing that Claude Anderson told us. I was sitting in the audience, he was live, he said, if we don't get ourselves together in the next 10 years, and that was 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, if we don't get ourselves together within the next 10 years, black folks will be a permanent underclass. You know, he talk funny, you know what I'm saying? Talk funny and fast. But I'm listening, I'm like, damn, what? So now, question on the table before we get into the, because I'm tying into those proverbs. Just about to let y'all know, I'm cold with it, right? Is because now the reason that I got that thought after I heard this, he went in on multiculturalism. Actually, multiculturalism was what actually sparked his conversation, because what he was saying is that by practicing multiculturalism, what they was doing was giving us nothing. And he said it was kind of disarming us, that we would think that we was going to be able to deal in this multicultural world when everybody else was dealing and doing economics and politics, their social structure, their education. They was doing it based on their ethnicity. Specifically. Lady J, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to wrestle with that question? So now this is what's really sparked the thought. So I was thinking, I said, okay. So he said ethnicity, and I always thought I knew what ethnicity meant. I said, damn, okay, well, goddamn, let me look this shit up. Because, you know, a lot of times we look at words and be like, boom, just because they're used and they're used in a certain way, we think we know the definition. So I had to look up the term ethnicity. And look at what I found, because I'm going to bring it around. Listen, ethnicity. An ethnic group. Oh, okay. What is that? A social group that shares a common and distinctive culture, religion, language, or the like. I said, well, goddamn. What's the difference between ethnicity and race? So I go and I look up. I said, okay, cool. Let's go and erase this. And I said, what is race? Race. Of course, you know, they got the contest, right? Boom, boom. A contest of speed, as in running, riding, driving, sailing. Now, race, a series of races. And I don't know why they use race. A series of races, usually a horse's dog, boom, but they're using all that. Let me go. Where is it at? Okay. Other races. All right, here we go. A group of persons related by common descent or heredity. Heredity. A population so related. Right? Any of the traditional divisions of humankind, the commonest being the Caucasian, Mongoloid, and Negro, characterized by supposedly distinctive and universal physical traits. So, Brother Hatim, how you get why is you saying blackface? And this is, I'm only asking the question because we got to really, because I want somebody to really understand Pan-Africanism, get on and talk with me about it, because of course there's right now in certain circles there's a rift between ADOS and Pan-Africanism. Now, the reason I'm asking the question is this. if multiculturalism is about taking all these groups, looking at all of the cultures, and finding a way to work together, and we know that don't work in the way that we're told it is, because really when we look at multiculturalism, what it is basically allowing people to express their cultures as long as it's West Asianly appropriate, as long as it's acceptable in West Asian culture. So basically you have a bunch of people expressing their culture as long as it is acceptable within the dominant society. So really what you are doing is you're becoming white. Basically, it's the only universal culture is West Asian culture. That's their piece. That's where they believe. That's how they do it. If you ain't doing it like that, you wiped off the board. Period. Right. So now, what I said with the Pan-Africanism, what Pan-Africanism is based on us as a large group of different ethnicities that are supposed to organize and overthrow our oppressors. You got a mishmash of people who have similar physical traits, but nowhere is really ethnicity even addressed. Because you got black people with different cultures, with different ethnicities. So isn't it kind of the same, but it's just all black? All of us got the, you know what I'm saying? We supposed to come together in some miraculous fashion and overthrow. Is that, so it's like, damn, hold on. Because I want y'all to follow my thought here. Now, so I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, damn, hold on. So, I'm married, and my wife is from Ghana. Nationality. That's her original nationality is Ghanaian, right? And she belongs to a group within Ghana called the Awe people. She's very proud. You know what I'm saying? She whenever she put money in her people's hands, that's what she doing, right? So her ethnic group is Awe. Her national group is Ghana, right? And I'm saying, damn, well, everybody else has an ethnicity. What is... All this time I've been working on this whole race piece, talking about all black people we need to pull together, but I haven't been able to organize my own group because where is the ethnicity? You know what I'm saying? Where is it? You know what I'm saying? It's not there. So now, if I don't have a connection like my wife does, so it's easy for her, there's no way that she gonna go anywhere else and buy a goddamn yam, an African yam from Senegal, right? I could be wrong, but I told her I seen yams in Senegal. She's like, I'm not, she ain't buying palm oil from the Asians. She's going to one of the African stores here and making sure that she buys the kind that she likes from her country. She's supporting her ethnic group. She's supporting her nationality. Now, we know nationally we are Americans, but ethnically, what are we? Now, this is what I'm coming to terms with. What I'm starting to come to terms with is that a lot of people are upset because some young people came up with an ethnic identifier that resonates with a lot of black people in America. And that's ADOS. Why? Why, brother? Why would they be upset? So I had to do some more thinking. I said, well, goddamn, this system is based on capitalism. Capitalism is taking over the world. What is?
So can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Goddamn.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I want to point out that what's the young man's name? What's this man's name? That comes on your show.
Quasi?
Not shop. Yeah, Quasi. So the other day when we were on, Quasi made a good point, and it may have been your caller from the call from abroad.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that he was saying how that whole piece could be extended to Black people in other places. I shared that I teach for the world, right? And one thing that I noticed that, for example, right now between revolution, right? Revolutionary War. And we teach, and it don't matter, even though I'm speaking about America, it don't matter because I can take it right back to that country. I can take it to Nepal. I can take it to India. I can take it to Ghana, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can take it to Mexico. I can take it to all of these other places where the exact same thing occurred, right? So we have that in common. So when I speak of it and I'm teaching them American history, I can also at the same time have them research their country's history to make that connection. That's something that we all have in common. And so what you just said, like in this talk about Pan-Africanism versus, I don't want to say my letters behind A-T-A. Tell me.
ADOS.
Yeah.
ADOS.
ADOS. Okay. ADOS. It just took me back to that conversation on Sunday where Quasi made that comment. And that comment resonated with me because, again, it reminded me of those in my classroom that even though they're from all these different countries and we're speaking of these different countries, we all have that in common, right?
All have what in common?
But then colonialism,
okay.
colorism, exploitation, you name it, having to declare independence from a European country. When we're talking about history of certain places that have come into contact with Europeans or Europeans came in contact with them. But many times, what you're saying does resonate with me also because a lot of times I say to people when we speak of ethnicity, race, nationality, a lot of times people make them all the same thing, right?
Right. That's what I've been dealing with. That's
as far as race.
Right.
Huh?
No, that's what I've been dealing with.
So they clump them together, but I've made this argument over time that, for example, every time I turn around, I got to argue with somebody about whether or not I'm Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not I'm Black. And so I often tell people, Black is my race, and Black is what's going to connect me with other people that look like me throughout the world, right? Nationality is American because that is my nation, right? But as far as ethnicity and its relation to culture and tradition, I would be African American, right? Whereas my students, this is how I look at it. My students who come over here, they're not African American. My African students who move, I don't believe that they're African American because they don't have the same traditions or culture per se that I have and that I have in common with other African Americans, being descendants of slaves. Whatever, and it does look different,
Right.
But so that I see where you're going, and it is definitely making it's making a lot of sense to me. And and then we could go a little further and we could talk about our heritage. You know what I'm saying? Our heritage. But again, what I find is that people use these terms, and they use these terms as if they all mean the same thing.
Right.
And in fact, and as you just proved, that they don't.
They don't mean the same thing.
I'm just going to pull up one more word. Heritage.
You looking it up?
Property that is.
Go ahead.
Yep. Property. Oh, let me see. The noting of a tradition, brand, or product regarded as emblematic of fine. No, that's not going to work. Property that is maybe inherited. And so when I think about heritage, that's when I think about African, if that makes sense. Because I feel like there are certain things, attributes, ways about me that are definitely inherited, and that are a piece of me because of where I come from, where my ancestors come from. So when I think about, what I do through Simpson, I'm thinking about heritage. Some of those things that we, beliefs, customs that we bring about. That's kind of piece of the heritage. Kente cloth, things of that sort. But also, I just got to throw this in, and you might not like it. At some point, I had this argument about white people in Africa, right? Mm-hmm. I was on Facebook, and there was a white guy from South Africa. He was wearing African clothes, and somebody made a comment about this man wearing African clothes. Well, at this point, African clothing here wasn't even trending. You feel what I'm saying? It wasn't like a thing, and so people were offended that I was like, well, the man lives in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, probably eats African food. You know what I'm saying? Things that you don't do. For wearing clothes you don't wear. But he's doing it because he lives in Africa. He's white, but he's African. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was something that got people, it ruffled people's feathers. But it was like they were offended that he was in African clothes or that he was eating African food. But I'm like, but he ain't black, but he's African. South African. I should say. But, and that's the same way, I can't say this about black people in the age, but, black people living in Europe. You know what I'm saying? They speak with a British accent.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean? Things like that. You can't move to China and become Chinese. Can't move to Japan and become Japanese. But you can move to America and become American. You know what I mean? Like, it's just things to think about. And my whole point of this commenting was just to say that we have to know that those terms are not, they're ambiguous in a sense, but at the same time, they have their own, they're not the same.
They're not the
same. You know
same.
what I mean? But what happens is when we have these conversations and these dialogues, and when people are speaking, they usually use them simultaneously as if they all mean the same thing.
They all mean the same thing because we haven't taken the time to research it. The guy King Darrell said there are only 2 species of human on the planet, black and non-black. Black people have 9 strains of DNA, while non-black people have 6. Now, this is what I'm going to say. How many ethnic groups are there then? You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, when we look at, he said species of human on the planet. So he even went beyond the whole race piece. Now, my question is, how many ethnicities are there? He said the Ghanaians fall up under Yoruba. I don't think too many Ghanaians feel good about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Why the Yoruba don't fall up under us? You know what I'm saying? How do we measure that? I mean, how do we measure what DNA came first and who had it first? You know what I'm saying? Now, because I don't want the discussion to get so deep. Excuse me, hold on.
I found another definition. That might be a little better. Property, heritage, property that is sent to an heir, something transmitted by or acquired from a predecessor.
Okay.
They put legacy in there, inheritance, tradition, heritage.
All right, we got an unknown caller. Who the unknown caller?
Hi, it's Kim.
What's up, Kim? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was sleeping. I happened to wake up.
Uh-oh.
It's 2:00 in the morning here.
Oh, so y'all, okay. I just gave my little diatribe. Lady J got in and wouldn't let me finish. Because I was building up.
Yeah, I was listening.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was listening to you about, because I was going to say something about you said Pan-Africanism and multiculturalism and blackface. I actually really think that's brilliant, that question, by the way.
Thank you. Long as you understand that it's a question. Because some people take that very seriously, and I'll have to be fighting in these streets. And I don't, if I can avoid it, I will. But I think that as thinking people, we have to be able to ask these questions about beliefs and ideas that we have so that we can actually build and have some conversation and move forward. So go ahead, sis.
You're right. No, I totally agree with you. And when you asked that question, it really made me think about Pan-Africanism. And, I do my reading, but a lot of times I reflect on my elders and the things that they have told me. And, a lot of my elders, my grandparents and great-grandparents, they weren't formally educated, but they were very wise.
Mm-hmm.
And, my grandfather went to World War II. And my husband is also African. And I remember when I introduced my husband to my grandfather when we were dating before we were getting married. And one of the things he said, he was like, I went in the war. I went to France. And he met Africans because Africans also fought in World War II. They fought for their colonial masters.
Mm-hmm.
And so our Black Americans, they interacted with Africans for the first time in the war.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, they treated the Black man with respect. And he was like, he was like, the Africans treated the Black man with respect. So because of that, he approved my marriage with my husband. And so, I got his blessing. And so when I think about that, I said, you know what? That was the beginning of our thought process of Pan-Africanism. Those brothers who went in the war, and the Africans who went in the war. And so I reflect on that. Also, I'm reflecting on Nkrumah's speech, 1956, I believe, Africans Unite.
Mm-hmm.
That also, a lot of that speech is about Pan-Africanism. So what I'm saying is the Pan-Africanism didn't start off as blackface and multiculturalism. I think it started off in a good place.
In an excellent place.
Yes. I think it evolved.
And it was on time. It was on time and in its time, because up in Africa during that time we had true revolutionary Pan-African leaders.
Yeah.
But go ahead,
I'm sorry. Did. No, I'm disagreeing with you. We did,
yeah,
but we don't. We haven't for the past 30 years.
That's right.
That's the deal.
And that's
so I was just reflecting on where it started, how we got here? Because when you ask that question, I think it forces us to think about how we got here.
Can I ask a question? I just had a thought. So during Black History Month, one thing, one of the teachers at my school, she wanted the theme to be Motown. And we had this Black History Committee meeting, and I told her that I was not in agreement. I was not interested in spending 28 days, or how many days we had in school that month, on just talking about Motown. Because though I feel like, me knowing the curriculum for middle school, I feel like there's no way you can teach, every grade you're teaching some part of, especially African American. I feel like, especially with 8th grade, but we really don't focus on Black people.
Thank you, God, King. I'm talking to one of the listeners. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So I get frustrated because I feel like sometimes we treat Black History Month like it is African American History Month instead of like it's Black History Month. But with that being said, I did like this day in history, and one of those days we focused on Pan-Africanism, and I showed a video, and what I saw within the video, you had a lot of African countries speaking out, their leaders speaking out in favor of Pan-Africanism. So I guess my question is that where it was born? Just on the continent of Africa, bringing those countries together in one fight against their oppressors there on that.
When you look at the history of Pan-Africanism, Afrocentric thought, all of that originated here. Please understand, all that originated here because we were in search of the identity. You see, because in many cases, many of our people over there didn't look at themselves as African. They looked at themselves as Gold Coastian when they had with.
But
go ahead.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. You asked the question, where was it? Was it born over there?
I'm going to share a video with you. Because, like I said, these leaders who were fighting for independence, beginning with Ghana and Nkrumah, when they began speaking out, I'm saying the idea that I got from that was Pan-Africanism, and they were sharing these speeches in a video. The only person they mentioned was Garvey. But other than that, all of those people who were advocates and pioneers of Africanism, Pan-Africanism, were from African countries.
Yeah, but
that were trying to unite there on the continent of Africa, and to duplicate what had happened in Ghana with regards to independence.
Now, go now in the research, look at where a lot of those leaders went to school and came and ran into these ideas. I mean, even when we look at music and the whole Afro-pop thing, you know what I'm saying? Fela came here. See, we are descendant of a lot of things, and this is what I was trying to get to. But I went and let you finish, so let me go on and finish. So talking about the whole piece is because we got this large group, and some of us would just say because you black, because you have melanin, that you are part of our group. And what ADOS has done, it has helped us identify an ethnicity. Because if we look at the definition of ethnicity, we have all of the qualities within an ethnicity for the group in America. But the issue is, and this is what's going to really piss some people off, the issue is that not only is America built up on our failure, other peoples and other cultures, even some that look like us, have been built up upon our failure. Because I want to read a term to you that is the root of capitalism. And I want y'all to really pay attention to this, because there's a problem when a consciousness, as Elder Amos Wilson said, because I'm going to go back and read the quote. I'm going to read this, then we're going to get into some of these quotes real quick. But check this out. So I looked up the term. I'm like, all right, cool. So we know capitalism. The root word of capitalism is capital. What the fuck is capital? The city town that is officially set, the official seat of government in the country, state, etc. Nah, that's not it. All right, capital. A wealth, whether in money or property, owned or employed in business by an individual, firm, or corporation. That is not, I can't stand when they be changing this shit on me like that. Right? The wealth, whether in money or property, owned or employed in business by an individual, firm, or corporation. The capital for the globalism that we're moving into right now, the capital that helped that greased those wheels was us. So when we start gaining a true identity, something that we all agree on, something that's not theoretic, something that we can actually point at and say, this shit was us. Like, because like we can look at the pyramid and be like, we built that, but we're so far removed from that it's almost impossible for some of us to see. But the reason that ADOS excites some of us, because it actually pinpoints us in a history that we know that our mama went through, our grandmama went through, our great-great-grandmama went through. So now, what happens in capitalism when the capital becomes conscious? I asked y'all this before. When the capital becomes conscious, it becomes a problem. No longer can that capital be traded. Now, a lot of these communities, a lot of these ethnic groups that's been using us to build up and move into a better life will no longer have us anymore, and they are very uncomfortable with the fact that we are becoming conscious and identifying ourselves. Because, once again, that takes us back to a point where our elder, my fault, the honor ancestor said, other groups are operating based on their ethnicity. ADOS needs to operate on a basis of consciousness and identity of ADOS to advance our economic interests. They use their consciousness and their identity to shape how they deal with each other so that they can start looking at each other in a way where they're able to do business and understand that this business is not just for them, but it's for their whole group. When we say that we are Pan-African, or we everybody that look like us, that allows it to spill out into other areas where people are not really having the same focus as us. Now, the problem with Pan-Africanism from my standpoint is that I know, like for example, when I was taking martial arts and I was learning, if I skipped a step, that step could be the difference between me getting knocked out or me getting hurt. You don't skip steps. And with Pan-Africanism is taking us straight from where we are as black folks in America, straight to a point where we are trying to organize with everybody just because they look like us. So we don't have the blanket of culture. We don't have the blanket of identity to protect us and to protect our own interests. What these young people, Yvette Cornell, Tone Talks, what they have done is, by doing the research, they have itched out this claim, this identity. And once we start embracing this identity, we are no longer useful as capital. As a matter of fact, we are demanding. We are demanding capital so that we can do exactly, not just we're gonna take that shit to do exactly what the elder said that we need to do. I
think it's
go ahead.
I'm
sorry.
Said I just wanted to. I want to just bring out a point. You're right in everything you said, and if you look at the racial breakdown they have in the United States, you have white, you have Native American, you have Hispanic, you have black, non-Hispanic, white, non-Hispanic. So that's what we have now, and black is considered African American. So anybody who's black is basically considered African American. And so what we're going to have to demand is that change. So now there's no blanket for black, and I think that's going to be the first push with this reparation push. That's going to be the first thing to happen. And we have a right for that to happen. Primarily, I'm going to say if you and Asian. I'm sorry, I didn't say Asian. And they have Asian and they have Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders.
Right.
Okay, they even have that. So if you can have a distinction between Native Americans, Hispanics, Asian, Pacific Islanders, why not have a distinction for something special category for us? It makes sense. And we should have had it a long time ago. So I think that's going to be our first win in this fight.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'll be the first one.
And like I said, even if they don't do it, that don't stop us for setting up centers and helping people do the research to show their connection. Because because my whole piece is, one, I love the idea of Pan-Africanism, but it's the issue is because we don't have an ethnic group, it kind of leaves us wide open to be inadvertently, in many ways, taken advantage of.
Exactly. That's what we are. And that won't change Pan-Africanism. Like, once we get this, and I think it's going to happen, by the way.
Oh, it's going
to happen. Yeah. We're going to have a separate category. That's I don't know when, but it's going to happen. And I think it'll happen in my lifetime. It's not even going to take that long. But that won't change Pan-Africanism. We still have certain traits, certain commonalities with other people who are African descent. That won't change anything. We're just talking about our specific categorization in the United States of America within our nationality.
Right.
That won't affect Pan-Africanism at all.
I agree. And I don't think it will either. But I do, and I do agree that there should be a separate category because, like I said before, it's a different culture, it's a different tradition, and it's not the same. When I think about myself versus my students who come from all parts of Africa, it's not the same way of life, daily life, any of that. It's not the same tradition. It's not the same history,
and it's not the same suffering. And it's not the same suffering. And it's not the same suffering.
No, it's not. It's not. But like I said, there is something. Like I pointed out, also there is commonality.
Now, but hold on. But wait. Now, this is what I'm gonna say with that. But there's commonality between us and Native Americans. There's commonalities between us and Hispanics.
I said that.
Okay, I'm just saying. So
I said that. There's from my students from Nepal, from my students from India, from any country that was colonized via Europeans. There is a common history.
Now, but I lost my thought. Yes, ma'am.
Tim, you lost your thought. Let me throw something else out there. And I haven't based this on research. I just based this on my personal experience. I've become of the mindset that our commonality is more with indigenous people than with Africans per se. From my interactions with like First Peoples, and like in Asia, in Malaysia, I met a lot of indigenous people, and when I interacted with them, I felt more commonality in terms of their culture, in terms of their family relationship, than I did with Africans. A lot of African tribes tend to be very paternalistic. They have pretty rigid hierarchies within those tribes. African Americans, we really don't have that. A lot of indigenous cultures, they don't have that either. I even noticed the food. A lot of the food from like how we eat our greens and things like that. Africans they eat their greens, but they don't eat their greens the way we eat our greens. Boiling them in water, they get to pound them, mash them up, add things with them. That's how they eat them. And so I noticed that a lot of the indigenous cultures, they eat their greens the way we eat our greens.
You know what? I always wonder why my wife did that, man. I'm sitting up here like, goddamn, I can't even stick my fingers in these goddamn greens. But go ahead, I'm sorry. All right, now you just solved the problem for me. Brought a little piece to my home. Now I understand.
So, yeah, so from my experience, being in Africa and being around other indigenous cultures, and like in Indonesia, you have, indigenous people who are black, because when I was in Malaysia and I was in parts of Indonesia, a lot of people thought I was Indonesian. Like, they spoke to me in that language, and I had to explain to them that I wasn't. That was a common thing.
I caught, who's that just dropped off? Okay, she'll call back. But now, I got it. I got my thought back. Now, and then what a lot of people don't even understand, how reparations will benefit the whole Pan-Africanist idea. I mean, I'm strapped with all these great thinkers out here. Why nobody sees how Pan-Africanism will benefit when ADOS are paid their debt. Now, because think about this. A lot of African countries, until recently, would not allow us to have dual citizenship. Part of the reason is that they probably were more aware of the statistics about us than we were really about ourselves. Because why would you let somebody migrate to your country that had absolutely no resources? Black people get the resources. Oh, a lot of us is going back to Africa. If for nothing else but to say that we went. So actually reparations would benefit Pan-Africanism because it would allow us to escape the prison of brokenness and be able to expand our worldview so that we'll be able to go around the world and see other black people struggling in the same ways. Not just hearing about it in a lecture, but actually getting out there and seeing it. So I don't understand how a lot of these great thinkers or so-called great thinkers don't see the benefits to Pan-Africanism by African Americans first establishing their identity here and pursuing reparations. Because it will benefit.
I think that Quasi also said that once that battle is won here, it's going to open up. Black people all over the world.
We influence the world.
I respected that.
Once we do what we doing, we set trends all over the planet. So people are going to do what we do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's just the flavor of the hell that we've been through. It's just the blessing that the Creator has put on us. We're not using it correctly, all the way correctly right now, but it's there. So now, let's get into these. I just wanted to throw that out there. And I want people to think about the question because in the current state, we got to understand, as Sister Kim brought out, that in the early days of Pan-Africanism, that shit was fire. But right now, we got to be able to look critically at certain thought and ask the question: are we just being comfortable? Are we just being lazy? Has this fallen into just one of the beliefs that can't be touched, sort of like Christianity and some of these other things where we can't really question anymore? Or is it something that in its present form is still useful and active? And we have to be very clear about it, because I cannot understand how anybody, unless they look at us as capital, because I'm throwing it out there, unless they look at us as capital, I don't see how any black person from anywhere in the world will be against us getting reparations. If they do, they see us as capital. In some form of fashion, they are receiving benefits from us being in the position that we are in, and we got to understand, in the position that we are in, we are, in a sense, to step up for everybody that comes into this country. Whenever they got a new population, where's the first place they drop them? I want y'all to think about it. Those of you that's been in Columbus your whole life, I want you to think about it. Where's the first place? Where's the first place people come to get their start up? You know what I'm saying? Sort of like shit. We the first blockchain. We was blocked and chained. We the first blockchain, and we still producing dough right now, right? So now, first proverb. Let's just run right down the list real quick, because we are already over an hour, and I want to keep people. And Sister Kim's supposed to be asleep, because you probably got to teach them babies tomorrow. So, do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. A Hebrew proverb. Lady J, you got the first strike at it. Knock it down, girl. Come on.
Well, short and simple, it just reminds me of that video that you texted me yesterday, where the young man is speaking to the teacher. And so that like goes hand in hand with that, right?
Yeah. You know, and then also, because I'm going to go ahead.
The young man explicitly said, he explicitly said that.
And I want y'all to, because now, because once again, connected it to our private lives, connecting it to our tribal lives, connected it to our national lives. Do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. Many of us want our children to sit down and learn like we learned, not really realizing that we might be hindering them and not be preparing them for the word that's coming. That's what Lady J just said. And we as individuals, because we are thinking old ways, we can't make the curves or make the turns with society as it is moving. Sometimes we might need to have to go and rehash some of our old thoughts. Now, of course, if you have principles, you need to go and be a principle being and live your principles. But you also have to you still have to go through and reflect that light inside and evaluate some stuff. See if it's really critical thought or if it's just a belief. Many of us are imprisoned by beliefs. And on the tribal level, do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. Check this out. Going back to the Pan-African argument, I have to ask the question, are we confining our children to our old learning? Are we trying to confine some of the young people that's coming up with new concepts and new ways of dealing with reparation and new things? Are we trying to confine them to the old ways of thinking and not letting them expand? Because I'm going to tell you right now, that's the best way to chase them away from you and chase them away from us as a group, because that happened to me. It wasn't until I got to Simba that I was able to wear the Peace Nation Builder, because I was a nation builder in this community right here long before I got the Simba sweatshirt. But they was telling me here I was too young to even be in those conversations. And I would have to check and be like, hold on, when you was going through the class, I led your class. How the fuck am I teaching you, but yet you telling me that all of a sudden you graduate the class and you my superior? Get the fuck out of here. I ain't even teach you everything. How about that? You know what I'm saying? I just fuck with people. That's just the way I was. I'm sorry, Sister Kim. You got something you want to add on to that proverb?
Hey, Oh yeah. I love the proverbs. It's so perfect. So the only thing I want to add is I think I'm all about reflecting on our elders. So when I hear that, I just think about something my mother always told me. My mother always said, every generation, and she's talking about us as Black folks. Every generation needs to do that. That's what she always impressed that upon me.
You need to do what?
And I think about us starting up as slaves. Slaves, a lot of us could read, and the next generation we pushed them once we were out of slavery to read. My grandmother was a very brilliant person. Her mother never went to school. My grandmother went up to 8th grade, and she was known to be a very good speller. My mother graduated from high school. I graduated from college. I pushed my children to excel in school, and I tell my children that. And so I think that's a part of our legacy and our lineage in America, Black people in America. That is something that is in our DNA from what we've had to do in America. So I think the proverb is perfect.
Okay. Next one. Spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Physical relationship divorced from spiritual is body without soul. Wow. Anybody want to hit that one? That one kind of.
Say it again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
It says a spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Physical relationship divorced from spiritual is body without soul.
That's perfect too. I mean, in terms of a relationship, if you only have a physical relationship, then it's not really based on anything. A spiritual relationship, that's something that can span time, and that's something that you can reflect on and you can build on. I think that's what keeps me going,
Right.
Definitely.
Brother Kwame, want me to read again? Spiritual relationship is far more precious than physical. Physical relationship divorced from spiritual is body without soul. And we know what a body without a soul is. It's a zombie.
Yeah, lifeless. Not, yeah, it's lifeless.
A constantly hungry beast that's walking around looking for constant things to consume. So, hey, spiritual relationship is far. I mean, I tell my brothers all the time, especially around the sweat lodge. You know what I'm saying? With some of the people that's in a sense struggle with us and stuff. Blood is thicker than water, but spirit is deeper. Is thicker than blood. You know what I'm saying? I have blood brothers, and I have spiritual brothers. And in almost all the cases in my life, my spirit, almost all of them, because I do have some strong blood too. But in almost all my cases of life, those spiritual brothers have come through. You know what I'm saying? That complete relationship. You know what I'm saying? That has that. I mean, because it's like the relationship exists on its own. And when I'm doing good, they're doing good. And when they're doing good, I'm doing good because there's a connection there. Right? Brother Kwame say physical relationship is based on flesh and does not endure. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was just going to say something that I've experienced with people sometimes, like, since I live so far away from a lot of people, my family and my close friends, I have instances that I will think about people and think about something in particular about a person, and that person will text me or call me at the very moment. It's like we're thinking about the same thing, and it'll be so random. And it's so beautiful because it's like I'm connected spiritually with them.
Right.
And we're on different time zones, different continents, and I've had that happen a few times.
Hey, You know, and for those scientific minded out there, that's called quantum physics, quantum entanglement. You know what I'm saying? Quantum entanglement. You are quantumly entangled with certain loved ones in your life. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Yep.
Last one. Unless, Lady J, you got something you want to hit on it? I think she might have dropped off for a second. All right, let's go. When minds are the same, that which is far off will come. When minds are the same, that which is far off will come. Anybody want to hit that one? Cause I'm gonna sacrifice this one to the higher powers.
I have to let that sink in.
When minds are the same, that which is far off will come. All right, family, listen. Quantum, I'm sorry. I done made Kwame mad. He said, quantum entanglement are deeper than physical and fleshy desires of the... He agreed with me. God damn it. I was right. Quantum entanglement. That's what it's called. When minds are the same, that which is... Hold on. Sasha and Gina, go to sleep. Y'all better not be on that computer. It's real life here, Gye-Nyame Journey. When minds are the same, that which is far off will come. All right, now, family, I want y'all to think about this. We all have circles, because we just talked about the spiritual relationship. We all have circles. And one of the things that kind of, even going all the way back to the beginning, when we read what Elder, I'm going to go back, what Elder or the ancestor Amos Wilson said. Other groups are operating based on their ethnicity. ADOS need to operate on a basis of consciousness and identity. And then the way he described it, because I wrote it wrong, the way he described it is that through their consciousness and their identity, they are able to develop an economic life. Now, family, I want you to think about this. When minds are the same, it don't mean that you think exactly alike. It don't mean that you agree all the time. But on those large things, we all desire them. We all want them, which means that all of our minds are working together to pull this thing towards us, to bring it into fruition for the group. This is why it's important. This is why we are social creatures. This is why we are social animals. This is why we work in tribes, right? Because it's not about the individual, right? Even those individuals that we look at and they try to elevate and say, well, this dude did it all by himself. You know deep down inside, you know this motherfucker ain't do it by himself. You know Elon Musk ain't do that by himself. You know you know all those other white boys ain't do that shit by themselves. There's a team below them that are focused on something, and because they align their minds, they align their consciousness, the keys to the kingdom are open up to them. Family, as a tribe, as ADOS, we have to align our minds on reparations. We have to align our minds on the things that we want from this, right? We don't all have to agree, but the overall piece, we have to start learning how to harness the mental energy, because those of us that know, that have done thought experiments, Sister Kim just laid one out. It wasn't even an experiment. Her mind was so powerful and so connected with other people that she was able to think about them. They thought about her, and next thing you know, boom, a random text pop up. I was just thinking about you. All of us have this type of shit happens all the time for us. And now what I'm saying is, as a people, once we start aligning our mind, aligning our consciousness, and allow it to happen, because this is what y'all got to understand. Listen to me, family. Listen to me. A culture is a living thing. A culture is a collection of a group's consciousness. It's the collective conscious, or as they might call it, a collective unconscious. And when it's not confused and moving and banging and battling, there is a culture when there's a consciousness that's in there, and there's an energy that is able to make what is impossible only a task that's worth a week, that only takes a week. I mean, I think I heard Jay-Z say, hard takes a day, impossible takes a week. It ain't Jay-Z solving them problems, it's him and his team. Who your team? Who you tribing up with? Right? And because what you start to happen is, and family, just don't tribe up and start reading books. Tribe up and do some goddamn work. Because a lot of us, see, because what start happening is, especially in our community, and what we got to start breaking down is this. Family, book knowledge is important, but book knowledge is not the be all to end all. It's only part of the equation. I know some brilliant motherfuckers that could tell you all types of shit, but their life is in shambles because they don't know how to live, because they haven't experienced life. It's sort of why a lot of brothers can't really identify with Jesus. And I know some of y'all could get mad at me about this, but a man who has never ran into and fallen in love with a woman and had his goddamn heart broke can't teach me shit. The issue for a lot of us is that many of us are living vicariously through study rather than living life through actual work and actually putting our hands in the soil and actually putting our hands on our people, and actually we're living theoretically. But now, when we work, because this is what I started learning, because one of the reasons I started doing a lot of these, especially like the extra, like this one right here, was because one of the things I had to eliminate in my life was useless meetings with my people. Because every time I would set meetings and we start meeting on a regular basis, other stuff would start popping up. So I'm able to meet with people from all over the world right now. We can have our little conversation, fall out, boom, boom, get off the phone, and be done with it. But nah, after the meeting, people got to hang around. After the meeting, an actual face-to-face meeting where those, you know what I'm saying, boom, people start hanging around. Next thing you know, all types of foolishness start jumping off. And next thing you know, the organization is broke up because there's two major things that messes up. Love affairs and money. Mm-hmm. It's hard for us to fall in love, on the internet like this. You understand what I'm saying? So we're able to get a lot of the craziness out and then come together, do our work, take our ass home. Because many of us are hurt, many of us are broken, and we're looking for something in somebody else, not even realizing that what we're looking for is in us. And this is why our collective consciousness is in chaos. It's in chaos. So it can't attract to us. It can't bring that which is far off back close to us. I'm just saying, family, you know what I'm saying? As a tribe, we get our mind lined up, because a lot of people be tripping on me because, like, we'll do the market or we'll do the Malcolm X festival, and I'll be sitting around laughing and shit and joking and stuff because I know that the shit is already done. We have a simple story in that I'm gonna share. I got to share on my timeline called "Make It Happen." Well, we have one of the founding elders of Gye-Nyame. Well, let's put it this way: one of our mythic beings in Gye-Nyame, right, is a teacher, and he takes a student, and the student begs him to be a student, and the teacher says, "You're not gonna be able to handle what I'm gonna give you." You know what I'm saying? Because when I tell you to do something, you can't give me an excuse. You have to go out and you have to make it happen. And make it happen is a term that is used within Gye-Nyame by those who know, because it's like, yo, hold on. You take an assignment, right? You doing this? Make it happen. And I done seen it. We $2,000 short to take some kids somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And whoever in charge of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you looking? Make it happen. Boom. Mm-hmm. Our minds are lined up. We're able to break through a lot of the bullshit and make stuff happen. So what start to happen when 100 of us are able to do that? What start to happen when 1,000 of us are able to do that? Some of y'all have even seen it through this whole ADOS movement, with it being moved into the national conversation. So our collective consciousness is just a little bit united. It's powerful enough to throw a conversation that most people want to avoid into a presidential election of the most powerful country in the world. So what happened when we really line up? He said, Brother Kwame say, number one, make it so. Oh, so you talking about the shoelay. Okay. Is make it happen. And since you ain't say it right, I'm about to get off of here before you type it in the right way. I ain't got to do it right now. But Sister Kim, you got something you want to share with the peoples before we get up? Because I got to go to bed.
Yeah, I need to go back to sleep too. No, I'm trying to get sleepy again. I can't think of anything. I'm so sorry.
All right, no problem. You tired? It's 3 o'clock in the morning now. And Lady J, you still online?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Lady J, you on the line? All right, family. With that, I want to say, family, I want to remind you that your hustle builds muscle. You have joined the congregation of the mighty, and thank you for joining us on Gye-Nyame Journey Media. I love it when you're on point, Anime. This is a Heart of a Simple production. And of course, we just got done with tribal quotes. When we strive to blow up your old paradigms. I know where the phrase make it so come from. Oh, number one. I got you now. I thought you was talking about proverb number one, make it happen, because it was talking about not confining the young children to the learning ways of the older ones, and we've been talking about a shoelay. So I thought you was talking about number one, make it happen. Proverb number one, make it happen. That's what but now I get you, number one, make it so. All right? Bravo, Black Yoda, bravo. I'm out, family.